Sawing wood. Before the first cut is ever made, the journey of turning a raw log into usable lumber begins with a crucial preparatory phase. The log, freshly harvested from the forest, must first be thoroughly inspected. This isn't a casual glance. It's a detailed assessment to identify any potential issues that could affect the quality of the final boards or the safety of the sawing process. We look for embedded foreign objects like rocks, nails, or old fence wire that could damage the saw blade. We also check for signs of decay, large knots, or internal stresses that might cause the wood to split or warp unpredictably during cutting. Once the log is deemed suitable, it is debarked. Removing the bark is essential because it often contains dirt, grit, and small stones that can rapidly dull a saw blade. This step not only preserves the life of our equipment, but also ensures a cleaner, more precise cut, laying the foundation for high-quality lumber. The clean, debarked log is then positioned and securely clamped onto the sawmill bed, ready for the transformation to begin. The initial and most critical cut is known as the opening face, or slabbing cut. This first pass removes a rounded slab from one side of the log, creating a flat, stable surface. The quality of this single cut dictates the accuracy of all subsequent cuts. A precise and level opening face is paramount. If it's even slightly off, every board sawn from that log will inherit the imperfection, resulting in tapered or uneven lumber. The sawyer must carefully consider the log's characteristics at sweep curve, taper, and internal grain pattern to decide the best orientation for this first cut. The goal is to maximize the yield of high-quality, straight-grained wood while minimizing waste. This decision is a blend of science and art, relying on experience and a deep understanding of wood behavior. Once the slab is removed, the log is rotated 90 or 180 degrees to cut another flat face, a process that continues until the log is squared into a cant, a large rectangular timber from which the final boards will be sawn. With the cant now squared and stable on the sawmill bed, the process transitions to sawing the individual boards. This is where the log's potential is fully realized. The sawyer can choose from several cutting patterns, each yielding different types of lumber with distinct grain patterns and structural properties. One common method is plane sawing or flat sawing, where a series of parallel cuts are made straight through the cant. This method is fast, produces minimal waste, and yields wide boards with the classic cathedral grain pattern. However, plane sewn boards can be more prone to cupping. Another technique is quarter sawing, where the cant is first cut into quarters, and then each quarter is sawn perpendicular to the growth rings. This produces boards with a straight vertical grain that are exceptionally stable and resistant to warping, making them highly prized for fine furniture and flooring. A variation of this is rift sawing, which produces the most stable boards with a perfectly straight grain, but it is also the most wasteful and time-consuming method. The choice of sawing pattern depends entirely on the intended use of the lumber and the desired balance between yield, appearance, and stability. Once the sawing is complete, the freshly cut green lumber is far from ready for use. It contains a high percentage of moisture, which must be carefully removed through a process called seasoning or drying. If the wood is not dried properly, it will shrink, twist, and crack as it loses moisture over time, rendering it useless for construction or fine woodworking. The first stage is often air drying, where the boards are stacked with stickers, small, uniformly sized pieces of wood placed between each layer. This allows air to circulate evenly around all surfaces of the wood, promoting slow and gentle moisture evaporation. This process can take several months or even years, depending on the wood species, board thickness, and climate. After air drying, the lumber is often moved into a kiln for the final drying stage. The kiln provides a controlled environment where temperature and humidity can be precisely regulated to bring the wood's moisture content down to a specific stable level, typically between 6 to 8% for interior use. This careful two-stage drying process is absolutely essential to ensure the final lumber is stable, strong, and ready to be crafted into something beautiful and lasting.